Destiny. I have a few things to say about this guy. Destiny is the progenitor of the far left progressive debate bro genre. The grandfather of the people like Vosh, the modern incarnation of Hassan Piker, a guy who is famous for his debate styling of gish galloping, rushing his way through topics. You know, what if you can't defend one topic well or make one argument well? How about make 100 really half-assed, and if your opponent just sticks you on something, just go, what about this? What about that? What aboutisms ad nauseum? That's his style. And sometimes Destiny is kind of known as one of the better left-wing types, a Jimmy Dore type, if you will. You know, when Destiny's life is going well, he's usually seen as somewhat reasonable. You know, he had a good take on Kyle Rittenhouse. He's kind of a base left-wing guy, except for when his life isn't going so well. You get him gleefully gloating over the death of a Trump supporter who was shot and killed brutally at the Trump assassination attempt. Corey Comparatori, sorry if I said his name wrong. I've only just, read it. But that's what he's in trouble for now. Not his debate stylings, not him, getting humiliated by his ex-wife, none of that. Obviously, as an avowed polyamorist and a pansexual, obviously, he's not upset about any of that. That has nothing to do with his behavior as of late, I'm sure. But as someone, I think, with my kind of stance on politics, I'm uniquely qualified to criticize Destiny. Why am I uniquely qualified to criticize Destiny? Because it's not unfair to say that my moral system, my tendency for grandstanding, and my ability to dehumanize my opponents would make me look at first blush not too dissimilar from Destiny. I have a habit of dehumanizing my political opponents. I have a habit of being so disgusted and find my opponents and my opposites so loathsome that I do have a tendency to gloat over their demises and failures, and I have a tendency to not really feel terribly compassionate when some of them come to harm. But what is the difference between me and Destiny? Well, when Thomas Crooks accidentally, I guess, presumably, shot Corey Comparatori in front of his family and blew his fucking head off, what exactly happened there? See, this was an assassin attempting to eliminate a former president and political candidate because that political candidate is so bad. What is Destiny's reason for why that guy's so bad that not only does Destiny not feel sorry for Trump, he doesn't feel sorry for anybody who was collateral damage in that attack? Well, it's because Trump tried to coup the United States. Did he do that? We all know he didn't. We know that's a lie. We know that's left-wing propaganda, and I don't believe for a second that even Destiny is stupid enough to believe what he's saying when he says that. I am accusing Destiny outright of being a liar. I've been on the record at length that January 6th was used as a chilling effect to say that you can't protest the government as a conservative the way the left wing is allowed to. And how is the left wing allowed to protest the government? Are they allowed to storm the Capitol? Yes, they did multiple times in the last 8 years. You don't see it on the news, but BLM stormed the Capitol building. BLM tried to storm the White House. And what did Destiny say about that? Oh, he gloated about how, pissy pants Don hiding in his bunker in the White House as riots are happening right there on 16 Pennsylvania Avenue. What about isms, right? What about that? I can play that game too, Destiny. How about what do people of that sort tend to do to protest? Oh, you mean like Darrell Brooks driving his car through 70 people in a Christmas Day parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin? Killing 6, several of those young children, maiming several more young children. Did those people deserve it because they were white or Christian, or people celebrating Christmas in the shithole of state of Wisconsin. Is that an equivalence there, Destiny? Political violence is just fine for Destiny so long as it goes one way. And when I say gloat that eco-terrorists get hit by cars when they illegally block traffic and cops just let them illegally block traffic, blocking traffic is not a legal form of protest in the United States. I'm pretty sure it's not a legal form of protest in any country, but it's frequently allowed to happen by the state because the state seems to favor one kind of protest and indeed favor one kind of terrorism. But are these kinds equivalent? Is attacking young children the same as firing at a candidate? I don't think those are the same thing. But Mr. Comparatori, the father of, I think he was the father of three, who was killed in the stage behind Trump, and I think another guy was either killed or at least critically injured. Those guys deserved it just for being there. But is that the equivalent to Kyle Rittenhouse being at a riot where tens of millions of dollars in damage are being caused in Kenosha, Wisconsin? Again, shithole state. And when people actually attack him with deadly weapons and he defends himself, that's the same. First of all, that's some kind of political statement. When he was basically volunteer security and then was assaulted multiple times and attacked multiple times and then charged with murder for obvious self-defense. Yeah, that's the equivalent to an assassin attempting to kill people on purpose, unprovoked. That's the same thing. See, it's my opinion that it's not wrong to dehumanize people who are objectively inhuman. And I would include Destiny among those. I'm not the first, nor will I be the last to call Destiny inhuman. Because he's not a human being. He's a fucking monster. His depravity is included in every facet of his life. And it is absolutely a common thread through all of his political opinions. He and I are not the same. We're not equivalent. Because I can demonstrate how his opinions that, it's okay to burn down businesses that have signs that say, hey, we value black lives. We shouldn't be a target of your riot. But looters don't care about political principles. They care about what they can burn and what they can steal. It's not the same as people who are rather certain that there was something fishy going on in 2020's election season, protesting, and in fact, I would argue that, smearing shit on the walls and stealing staplers and walking off with podiums and causing vandalism to the Capitol counts as a riot. Compared to riots that we've seen over the past 10 years, especially on the West Coast, would I argue it's a particularly severe or grand or egregious riot? No, I'd say it's pretty fucking tame in comparison. But it is a riot. But to say it is a coup is to lie. To say Donald Trump, by agreeing that the result of the election should be protested, to say that is the equivalent of a coup is a lie. It's not a mistake. It's not a different worldview of what happened. It's a lie. It is a complete and flagrant lie. And I think that a judiciary system that tries to bury Donald Trump under the jail for not doing something they claimed he did, and they lied, the same as Destiny did, is I don't think that's terribly equivalent to mass murder, to $2.2 billion in property damage, to the complete failure of biased police forces to actually enforce the law, that most of the rioters who ended up either killing or severely injuring people and causing wanton property damage and arson, the way they were able to do that is because many of these rioters that were actually identified in the press were rioters who would be arrested multiple times, released 24 hours later to reoffend later in the week, to be arrested and charged, and then released 24 hours later to reoffend a third and indeed a fourth time in a 7-day period. There's not an equivalence to that in some boomers who wandered around and stole a stapler and have been in prison in solitary confinement for over 3 years. Those are not the same thing. And it's not a matter of debate, and it's not a matter of opinion. There's nothing subjective here. To say that those are equivalent is a lie. So to gloat over the death of an innocent man and to say, I have every reason to gloat because conservatives don't give a fuck about the law or don't give a fuck about decency or don't give a fuck about human rights, that's a lie. It's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of differing worldview. It's not even a matter of just simple bias. It's a lie. Destiny knows he's lying. But clearly there's something seriously wrong with the guy, that he is so comfortable with an egregious and sadistic, sick fuck lie that he's telling, that he's excited to go on cable television and defend that lie. That he's excited to go on every platform he can get on to talk to Piers Morgan and to shout and scream. And even if he thinks there's some way he can spin his lie that these Trump supporters deserve to get shot in the head and killed and have their brains splattered all over other bystanders at this rally that Trump was holding, if he's so comfortable in that lie, why does he think it's a good idea to use his usual debate bro tactics of showing up and trying to shout over the people on this news show and yell obscenities and just have a complete spurg fit? That makes him look good. See, the sad thing is optics and tone and emotional manipulating language is the purview of the left, and they're very good at it. There are ways that you can, especially if you're able to successfully set up and smear the people that you are gloating about the harm to, that you can get away with it. I can say that it's very easy for me to spin people like Daryl Brooks, the Waukesha. Sorry, I keep mixing up Kenosha and Waukesha. The Waukesha car murderer. I forget the name of the guy who was he was wanted for shooting unprovoked shooting a guy in a red Trump hat. Shot him in the back of the head in cold blood. A complete stranger just assassinated him for the hat he was wearing. And when Vice News got in contact with the guy, rather than, tell the police where this wanted armed and dangerous murderer was, they interviewed him on camera. Because obviously the left thinks people who just shoot people in the fucking back of the head in cold blood are totally cool because they're protecting the country from fascism. I have to say to people like Destiny and to Destiny himself, if he ends up watching this video, which I wouldn't expect him to, and I honestly hope he doesn't, because his fans are absolute lunatic psychopaths, and I could rather, stand to not be doxxed by a bunch of lunatic psychopath Twitch morons. I would have to say, if what you're a big fan of is random executions in the street, arson across the country, and if you think that conservatives are just so bad because they just won't let LGBT people live their lifestyle, well, I could say, why would I care about a demographic who commits, child rape at a rate 40 times more than any other? That repeatedly just says, "Oh, we just want to normalize our lifestyle and our preferences. We're just normal people, but we really need to communicate that to kids in kindergarten. We can't have a reasonable conversation with adults who are capable of informed consent. We really need to express that directly to kids in schools, and then repeatedly get in trouble for child porn or indeed molesting those kids, those very same kids that we demand access to." Two can play at this game. What about that, Destiny? What about child rapists, huh? What about pedophiles, Destiny? What about those people? We can play whataboutisms. We can play what about murderers in cold blood and psychotic assassins? What about people who run down Christmas Day parades, Destiny? What about people who take over entire six blocks of Seattle and form their Chaz Chops communist commune? And within a week, multiple murders happen in their zone, and they prevent ambulances from saving those people's lives. What about the fact that every time you guys get your way, the result is theft, assault, and murder, not just on random innocent people, not just on your political opponents, but indeed your kind preys on each other wantonly whenever they get the chance. In fact, I would say that in every sense of the word, whether it's in criminality, in thievery, in assault and murder, or child abuse, everybody on your side looks to me like a predator in every sense of the word, an inhuman monster who preys and consumes and kills. Why do you think and then you have the balls to get in front of as big of a platform as you can find, bigger than your own platform, which itself is bizarrely huge for how stupid and immoral you are. Why would I have any problem dehumanizing you? See, the funny thing, Destiny, is this is almost a video in defense of you, because it's not in defense of you, but in defense of dehumanization. In fact, this is not the first time I have said I don't think dehumanizing people is wrong. Piers Morgan wanted to sit down and say, I don't condone anything you're asking me or telling me I condone. I'm just saying that what you're condoning is obviously not condonable. No, Piers Morgan. If you can demonstrate the inhumanity and immorality of your opponent, I think it is perfectly reasonable to dehumanize them, to say that compassion is not something this person should be eligible for, that empathy is not something this person deserves. I cannot even logically find the ability to empathize with the person myself. No, I understand that fully. However, I understand that this is an extreme position to take on a person, and you must be able to demonstrate the inhumanity of somebody. And just saying, oh, this guy supports Donald Trump because Donald Trump did a coup, and he didn't, and he's a family man who died physically covering the bodies of his family as bullets whipped through the crowd, and that he was just there as a bystander, but he's complicit in a fascist takeover of the country. You're insane. You're a psychopath. None of that logically follows. None of that is true. It's not a matter of debate. It's not a matter of subjective opinion. It's objectively, demonstrably false. It's a lie, and you know it's a lie. So there is no equivalency here. I'm not doing a whataboutism, honestly, because I can point to actual wanton murderers, wanton thieves, wanton arsonists, random assaulters, political thugs. I can point to roving gangs of political paramilitary groups running around in uniform in various cities across the world, and especially the United States. I can point to those and say, this is what Destiny is describing, but all those people are on his side, not mine. So I am perfectly fine with dehumanizing Antifa and BLM and dehumanizing assassins, dehumanizing that female to male transgender person who shot up an Catholic elementary school because my T's are so under attack that it's okay to just slaughter children. Oh, they asked for it because they invalidated my sexual fetish. Not the same thing. So it's not what about this or what about that. We're not changing the subject. If the subject is despotic fascism, or the subject is tyranny, the subject is terrorism, the subject is illegal overthrows of law and order, the person guilty of that is you and yours, Destiny, not me. Now, I might think that the punishment for people who do what you condone, Destiny, should be far more extreme than maybe even the average boomer neocon conservative or even far right person may be comfortable with. I may be right there with you that I don't view these people as human beings. I view them as animals who should be treated like rabid animals. But I can demonstrate that my position on who is a rabid animal is accurate, and you can't. That's the difference between us.